Hello learners, welcome to Learn to Empower. In this video, we are looking into the Unit 2 of our ethics series. The Unit 2 contains the attitude. Within the attitude, we will be studying here content, structure and functions of the attitude. The next coming videos, we will also look into the attitudes, behavior, thought, etc. and how the attitude influence your moral and political ideas and the social influence and persuasion. In this particular video, we will be looking into the attitude, content, structure. The function part will be dealing with the next video, right? If you look at the term attitude, we can understand that attitude is nothing but it is a psychological construct, which means what? An attitude of a person is shaped by certain things, right? Attitude of the person is formed over the period of time. Now there is a subtle difference between attitude and the aptitude. Right. In case of aptitude, it can be learnt over the period of time. Even the attitude can also be changed over the period of time. But the point is, attitude is of both by birth and by through acquisition, right? You acquire over the period of time. But in case of attitude, it is acquired over the period of time because of certain changes, because of certain influences that happens over the through the phases of life. For example, you might not in line with the women empowerment in the initial stages of your life, but over the period of time when you understand the benefits and other aspects of gender sensitization, etc., and the social crime happening for the for women, then you will attitude towards the woman changes. Right. In a layman's language, we can say that attitude is a psychological construct which includes the feelings, beliefs, and predisposition. What is meant by predisposition? Predisposition is something which you already have knowledge about something through your socialization process. Right. There will be certain objects, persons, events, idea. For example, if I mention Elon Musk, you automatically think he is a billionaire. He is a person who is working for the renewable energy, etc. Right. When I mention a person like APJ Abdul Kalam, right, you automatically think is most ethical person. He is the president of India, etc. So when I mention certain peoples or certain ideas, you'll automatically have certain imbibed thought process within you, which actually shapes the attitude, right? And the content part of the attitude we'll be studying in three aspects, that is cognitive part, affective part and the behavior part. This is also the structure of the attitude. Generally, the structure of the attitude, it is said as ABC model, but we'll in this particular video we'll be look the content and the structure of the attitude in CAB model. CAB model nothing but cognitive part, affective part and behavioral part, right? This is the content as well as the structure of the attitude, right? In the content of the attitude, we'll be looking into how the emotions are developed, how these are evaluated over the period of time, what are the components involved, etc. In the content, as I said before, first is your cognitive component, second is your affective component, third is the behavior component. In case of cognitive component, cognitive, generally it is said that what you observe is the cognitive part. You observe, you have certain ideas by through observation. For example, a child observing the parents in the tender age, he or she will understand how they are behaving, right? How if they are fighting always, then automatically psychological construct happens over the period of time, right? So the attitude is something that is imbibed through the components of three parts, that is cognitive, affective and behavioral. In the first, we are looking into the cognitive, which is the observations, the knowledge that you get, the predispositions that you have, the belief system that you had, the knowledge part that you had. This is the cognitive component. For example, a person who is by studying the literatures or by studying the articles, etc., of climate change, he will definitely adopt in his over the period of time the attitude towards the climate change. For example, I want to mention the ex-president of USA, that is Donald Trump. Donald Trump does not believe in the climate change at all. He says that climate change is a natural process happening over the period of time. Whether efforts are taken to stop the climate change or slow down the global warming process, he does not believe in this idea at all. He believes that the climate change is a natural process, which means what? He got this cognitive idea about the climate change that he doesn't want to change because his attitude is modified according to that particular view towards the climate change, right? The next next example is that the vaccination part. For example, when you have good knowledge, beliefs about the vaccination, that you think that by taking the vaccination, the diseases can be rectified, or diseases can be solved, etc., then definitely you will go for the vaccination. For example, the mass vaccination campaign that happened during the period of COVID-19, right? You remember that when the government tried for the vaccination, initially people were resistant about the vaccination because there was many apprehensions. Then government did what? Awareness campaigns. Most number of awareness campaigns done. Then the people came forward. The Prime Minister of India took the vaccination in front of the media. Entire nation was watching. That this created a trust, the cognitive part of the attitude. Then the people also started taking the vaccinations, right? The next example is that your attitude towards artificial intelligence. For example, now this is a age of artificial intelligence, like ChatGPT, like driverless cars, etc. For example, if you don't believe in this technology, in the driverless cars, etc., you will be hesitant in adopting the technology, right or not? Right? If you believe, for example, in the countries like UK and USA, the artificial intelligence car, the driverless cars are allowed in the market. When the people have a trust, they trust this artificial intelligence through the cognitive process, they will imbibe the technology and they will follow the technological advancement, right? This is how the attitude of the artificial intelligence through the cognitive process, it can be changed. Now, as I said before, the attitude towards the gender equality. If you believe that gender discrimination is bad, if you believe stereotypes are not good to the society, then these are the observations that you get over the period of time. Then you also have knowledge about the societal, economic and cultural factors. Then this will lead to gender sensitization in the society. When the gender sensitization is happening in the society, obviously the crime happening for the opposite gender will certainly come down, right? This is a very important understanding that you should get through the attitude that you are getting through the cognitive process. Now, a person having a cognitive process of sustainable living, if he believes that sustainable living is a better way of living, then obviously he will be solving the environmental issues. He or she will be also adopting their way of life in recycling, energy consumption, etc., right? So this way of attitude of cognitive, when you believe that these things can be happening, these things can happen, then your attitude towards that particular thing can be changed. The next part is the affective part. The first part is the cognitive part through observation. Second is affective part, when you emotionally feel about certain things, when you are emotionally connected to certain things, your attitude will change over the period of time. This includes the feelings, emotions, likes, dislikes towards the particular object. For example, when you are feeling emotional towards your sports team, right? For example, in India generally happens, the people in India, the fans, etc., are more connected to their favorite cricketer, right? When the favorite cricketer comes and plays in the ground, then their emotional part will kicks into, and they feel more connected towards the particular sports. They show sense of loyalty and excitement. They show pride, joyful and enthusiasm towards the cricket team, right? When the next is the attitude towards your musical artist. For example, any musician, for example, take A.R. Rahman, when he conducts the concert, etc., the people will go in flux. The huge number of crowd comes into the picture. Why? They are emotionally connected to the particular artist. When you listen to the music of this particular artist, you will get some kind of nostalgia, deep emotional connect about certain things happening in your life, right? So these things, the attitude towards the music, the attitude towards the life can also be changed when you connect the emotional part of the content of the attitude, right? Next, attitude towards social injustice. For example, when you see certain injustice happening, certain crime against women has happened, the rape has happened, let us say Nirbhaya case or Disha case for that matter, right? When these cases were happening, when you watch this, you are emotionally connected to the particular incident, right? You want certain justice, from the society. You feel anger, frustration and sadness, right? So this creates a kind of base for changing in the attitude of the person. Next part is the attitude towards animal welfare. When you feel compassionate, when you feel sympathy, empathy or love towards animal, then you will certainly have a compassionate attitude towards the animals, right? Next part is that the political leaders generally evoke the emotional component of the people, right? The emotional component, they seek vote or admiration, etc., but they invoke the emotional component. Whenever you look at the speeches of the political leaders, they will invoke the feelings of the audience, right? So this is where you get into understand the attitude towards the political party is getting changed when your affective part or the emotional component of the attitude changes. The next India specific examples I have given here, that is attitude towards the cricket, the Bollywood actors, etc. The Bollywood industry is a very big industry. When why the advertisement campaigns, etc., when they take the people from the movie industry, because that will have a mass audience reach, right? In the recent the police conference that was happened, Prime Minister said that use the social influencers or social media influencers to create mass awareness about the new laws that three criminal laws bills were passed, right? This is an important part, that the people, when they are connected emotionally towards certain things, the people tend to change or adopt according to the situations, right? This is where the attitude comes into picture. For example, attitude towards the festivals during Diwali, Holi, etc. When you are emotionally connected, you feel more joyful towards particular, and you also feel cultural pride and unity, sense of unity of and sense of belongingness also kicks into here, right? Next, attitude towards national symbols. When you take the national symbols, like whenever the national anthem plays, let us say it is playing in the movie theaters now, right? Not in a mass scale, but certainly in a small scale, the movie theaters are playing national symbols. When the national flags or national symbols are played in the movie theaters, obviously you stand, right? This is where your attitude towards the respect for the nation comes into picture, right? You also feel a strong feeling of patriotism, pride, and sense of loyalty in the loyalty towards the country, right? And the attitude, obviously the attitude towards the spiritual leaders. Some of the people more connected to the spiritual leaders, for example, you take the recent times Sadhguru, right? When you take Sadhguru video, the people are more emotionally connected, right? His inner engineering, etc. Likewise, there are now many emotional spiritual leaders there used to be, where people connected more towards the, and your attitude you shaped by this the spiritual gurus, right? Now, the behavioral component of attitude includes the cognitive component plus affective components will leads to behavioral component of the attitude. When you behave in certain disposition, right, you will behave in certain disposition when your cognitive and affective part is getting changed. For example, you observe certain things, then over the period of time your feelings also change over, then your behavior will change. This is the behavioral component of the attitude. This behavioral component of the attitude, over the period of it becomes habit towards you. For example, attitude towards volunteering. For example, you believe that volunteering is good. Volunteering is nothing but you are helping in an NGO. Whether you are helping in the orphanages area, helping in the old age homes, then your emotional component kicks into it. Then this happens, then you regularly go for volunteering and participate in the community services, etc. Now, when you think sustainable living is good, then emotional part kicks into it by seeing the environment, etc., environmental damages, etc. Then you also start adopting the recycling and reducing the wastages. Next, healthy eatings. For example, you believe that healthy living or healthy eating food habits is good, then emotional parts kicks into which that it creates a consciousness, then you also adopt your diet in a proper manner. This also goes for the voting pattern as well as the philanthropy. You also start donating the money, which kicks the behavioral part of the attitude, right? And India specific examples I have given. The Swachh Bharat mission is a good example where they focused on the behavioral component of the people. When initially Swachh Bharat mission was launched, the people created awareness about how cleanliness is good. Then the celebrities, etc., came into picture to create the mass awareness, which created emotional part of cleanliness. Then started the behavioral component. Next, attitude towards the digital payment. When India adopted the digital payment mass scale in 2016, everybody was very much apprehensive to adopt the UPI system. But over the period of time, the belief system was came into picture. The attitude towards the UPI payment was changed. Then people started adopting the digital payments. Now it is largest turnover, and we are selling this UPI software to other countries as well now. Next, the sustainable fashion, nothing but the clothing styles, etc. is changed. The same goes with the responsible tourism. For example, you want the tourism should be good, the cognitive part kicks into it. Then the emotional part, that by seeing the waste bottles, etc., through different parts of the India where you went, then you also feel that no, this should not be done. Then the behavioral component comes into it. You will be following the sustainable tourism, right? Now, the famous quote said by Gandhiji, that if you want to see the change in the society, you be the first the change, right? So that kicks into picture here. The same goes with the blood donation. You believe blood donation is good through the cognitive component. Then you also feel about the people who are not getting the blood. Then you also start donating the blood and you volunteers at the blood banks, right? By this slide, we are coming end of this video. In the next slide the next video, we'll be starting with the functions of the attitude. Till then, take care. Thank you.